Welcome back to The Good Talk, the show where we discuss what's hot, what's grot, and everything between in the wide world of Warhammer. I'm joined here, of course, by my amazing co-host, Mr. Jonathan.
Hey, what's up? We got Lindsay as well in the back.
Yo.
Yo.
Repping in the house today.
Yes.
And speaking of the house, we're here to burn it all down, talking about the state of the game, the watching of the meta of the watch. This is one of the reasons we want to talk about this is because of the fact that, of course, the recent MetaWatch article did come out, and we've had a couple big events this last weekend.
That's right.
So it's a bit of a snapshot. Things are in motion as they always are, but it's good to take a moment and talk about it. Let's dive on in.
Yes.
So we just had Tacoma, which was a GW run event.
Yes, I think it was 274 players, something around there. And it's a lot. It's a good data pool.
Yeah, good little
And
slice.
they were playing on, of course, GW terrain.
Yep.
And there's some interesting rulings.
Yeah, interesting.
And we actually saw probably maybe something like kind of surprising win. Custodes, spoilers, Custodes got first and second place.
Exactly.
Craziness. Yeah, dominating at the top.
Right.
I don't know what their win percentage is, but
yeah, every day I see different percentages posted from different people and different sites.
You're right.
I'm never quite sure.
Yeah.
But they are quite strong. And the winning list, of course, was basically a 3x10 Custodian Guard. With each block having one has trade and the other two had just another shield captain.
Like a shield cap for the free strat.
Yep. They had a Calidus to mess with opponents' strats and Vex and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
And they had at least two.
Gladius?
No Caladius.
No
They just
way.
want to all stand in the middle, score points. You know? And they had two of the 35 point just stand in the place and get points.
Oh, sure, yes.
But yeah, so no shooting. Well, we say no shooting. Other than the 30 Marines that can get full rerolls to wound, double shooting once per game, no shooting in the army.
No shooting.
And it just kind of takes this list archetype that we've seen Bridger even run a little bit of to the extreme, you know? So it's interesting. I think, I think Custodians are quite strong though.
I think Custodes are quite strong. It's like one of those factions where they do, well now there's a Caladius, but they do one thing really, really well.
Yeah.
Sand places dominate that area, but they don't shoot usually, but now they can. I don't know, I feel like it's just crazy stats and it's not on anyone's top 3 usually in terms of armies. Usually it's like Eldari, GSC, and like, I don't know what the third would be. Knights.
Knights, people talk about Knights a lot.
Yeah, right? But like Custodes kind of fly under the radar here, which is, it's quite interesting.
They fly just a little bit below.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh my goodness, Knights, bring all the las cannons, but then you run into 30 plus infantry and you're like, oh, how can I deal with this now?
With access to -1 damage.
2-up save,
Yup.
cover stuff.
This list wasn't running the Blade Champion, but Blade Champion gives advance and charge once per game. The Wardens, of course, have the 4-up Feel of Pain once per game. It's just so, and of course, the army has access to fight first for CP, which means you can realistically never fight first into them, so you're gonna have to take a hit, and they're very, very durable. They hit like a truck too. You know, like Bridger always says, they were supposed to have 5 attacks last edition, according to him. He's like, they should have had 5. Now they do have 5 attacks, but they also get reroll to wound and these amazing stat lines.
Yeah.
So they hit like an absolute
They get
truck.
a keyword on demand.
Yeah.
John,
Oh.
Oh.
you were. Oh.
Was that you?
You're good.
Did you mute him? So you...
I forgot we switched.
It's all right.
Hopefully they picked you up on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Custodes, strong.
Strong.
I think maybe too strong in some ways. But they're a bit of a difficult one where it's like, the percentages matter, but also I think the player experience also matters. So for example, Necrons, not necessarily hitting the top of the charts, but they also are a weird army. You know, we played them on Tuesday, Bridger and I, and we're discussing this problem where they obliterate mid-tier armies. They like dunk on them, but they can't quite compete necessarily with the tippy-top armies, generally speaking.
Yeah.
And that's not a good place to be either. So that's frankly, if we wanted to start thinking about where adjustments need to be made, that's a place for an adjustment. Like they're too strong against many of the armies, but they just can't compete with the top armies. And so basically nobody's happy at all with them. So I think Necrons and Custodians in a similar way are in a weird spot.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, an interesting concept, because I feel like that, dare I say, like it makes people make very skewed lists that skew that even more. Like this Custodies list is, I feel like, is quite skew.
Yeah.
And like if it, I don't know. Like if they ran into someone that can actually deal with the anti-infantry or the infantry, then they would just lose. But everyone's not looking at them. I don't know. It's a strange.
Yeah.
Feels strange.
And there's like there's like predators and prey.
There's already
as well.
hard counters now, like in a lot of indexes, just because they're so like specific in its identity that like I feel like some factions will always lose to other factions. Like I feel like Knights always lose to Space Marines or something like that. I don't know. Maybe, maybe
there's things that are extremely effective against others, you know?
Yeah.
What we also saw, of course, was the continuation of domination by Eldari and GSC, both with absurdly high win percentages. And we had Tacoma. We also had the Show Me Showdown. And between the two of those, the top 10 was 40 to 50% Eldar. So clearly the fate dice changes, maybe not enough.
Yeah.
And so that's not like shocking news. Like, you know, breaking news: Eldar are wild. But people are waking up to GSC. You know, they kind of flew under the radar in the first wave because fate dice were just so ridiculous. But we fixed those, and now you're like, oh, GSC are a problem. Like they are so strong and so good at scoring and so uninteractive in some ways that they actually are a big problem. So people are now also realizing that, and I think we're seeing that for the first time really in this last week of, okay, Eldari toned down, but still probably too strong. GSC, I think we're probably stronger than people ever thought they were in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a good tempo. Like GW should be using the scalpel and not the torch with a lot of these things, and the fact that they've nerfed Eldari a good amount. A lot of Eldaris, I'm sure, jump ship, but like the Eldari is still really, really good, and that means they can make other adjustments, and they can also focus on other factions. We're only like weeks, I think. No, almost like a month into the edition, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
So like we're not that far in. There's still a lot of changes that need to happen and stuff, and a lot of changes that are going to happen even before any codexes drop, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think people will continue to adapt, will continue to learn. Like there's obviously issues that need to be resolved, but we're just curious. We're keeping an eye on it. You know, we're starting to play events. I played my first one this last weekend. Yeah. We're both going again this weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna see it firsthand pretty soon.
Yeah.
Well, we have like 3 nights at least. Like there's only like four factions that are like you can see right now on our RTT. It's like a 20-person, 22-person RTT, and out of the 4, there's 3 Knights so far. So like if that ratio keeps up, and then it's me, my Eldari. So we have 1 Eldari and 3 Knights so far.
Just 1? Okay, not too bad. And this is especially going to be a factor at RTTs. You know, so I went last weekend, and there was like it was 14, 16 players, 16 players. It was like max to RTT, 4 to 5 Knights. And the top table was Knights versus Knights.
Why do we have so many Knights?
I mean, it's an army that's easy to get to. They're easy to play. They're real strong. Yeah. And like you said, there are natural predators to some of these armies, including Knights. But especially with these small events, if you don't pair into those, you can just bulldoze your way through and just like hit people that aren't prepared or can't deal with you fast enough, and boom, you've won. I would use especially those small events as an opportunity to learn. And obviously, if you want to try to win. But there's going to be wild things happen, unexpected things that happen, and that's just the state of the game right now. So I think make your peace with that. If you're going to an event, you're going to have a much better time. Go hang out with your friends, get lunch, play some games, and just accept the wildness. Yeah, so, totes. It'll be fun. Totally. Yeah, so that's kind of, you know, just want to touch base with everyone on that. We just, of course, did play a game with GSC versus Eldari. We don't normally talk about MVPs and stuff for the game there, but we wanted to talk about it here because it is very relevant, obviously, to this discussion. So if you want to see the list, you can check them out in the links on that video. John, you had some amazing units, but who really would take the cake? Like, especially by your metric. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're always talking about who exceeded your expectations.
Who exceeded
I'm
my
curious.
expectations,
Yeah.
right? And it's been a while since I've played Eldaria. It's been since the tournament, I believe, the 10th tournament that we played when we released.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Wow.
And it's a great faction because I mean that tells you how strong it is. It's like you just pick it up and play it. The warp spiders and the specters died very fast. You dealt with them very, very well. You knew my soft spots and you poked at them.
Right.
So you did a great job at that. They were lucky to like be able to overwatch before they died. But I
I
think
had to because they were scary. But yeah, over the course of the game, I think there's one thing that was really effective. I don't know if you're agree. I don't know.
it's like Wraithguard or Night Spinner, right? It's
Yeah.
like
Oh, the Wraithguard were good, though.
this is the first game I've played with Night Spinners at all in this edition.
Yeah.
So they were super surprising. I was very doubtful. And at the same time, I had big expectations for Wraithguard, and they went past that expectation. I got to do everything and, and plus, and then some with the Wraithguard. So I'm going to give it to the Night Spinner because I am now turned into a believer with Night Spinner.
Same.
And then Wraithguard, I'm going to keep playing them, and
so
they're going to
good.
be super good every game.
And you played them so well, so bullish.
I have to, it's such a huge anvil unit that a lot of factions can't deal with. And especially if I have other vehicles floating around, it's this thing where I have like so much toughness for an Eldari army that you can only kill so much of it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a good call, honestly.
Yeah. So yeah, Night Spinner for me. What about you? For GSC, you have a lot of battle line. You have a lot of characters.
I know. It's really hard to not just give it to the battle line, and I think this game is also true. You didn't get to see the beautiful thing that is demo charges because you counted them very, very well. Numerous times.
I just rolled sixes.
You bullied them every time. They would pop up and do the thing and get down there and you're like, here's another one. You're gonna kill me? No, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna let you live. Hanging on for dear life.
It's that panic button that as an Eldari player, you have a huge panel of tools in front of you, and you have 5 red buttons that you just start pressing. Yeah. It's like Phantasm and Overwatch and Fate Dice, and you just start slapping the dashboard of red buttons.
Right. And then it was good. You did well. You did well, honestly. So I can't give it to them. I think I have to give it to the humble neophytes. They normally survive a lot longer. You obliterated them. But the number of times I was come in 3 away, string them out, turn off the primary, almost every single turn, and I've never had a game where I've done it so many times in a row. So that turned some early game mistakes into some nice benefits later on. So I think it's the humble neophyte, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't score a full primary, which wasn't that hard. It's to hold 2 objectives.
Right.
I didn't hold 2 objectives till past the middle of the game. So it was
started
good.
Burning them.
Yeah. I was I'm angry now. I'm burning.
Set them on fire. So I think the neophytes for that reason. Yeah. But there's so much to learn. I'm having a great time.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Good answer. I would say Ridge Runners are actually really good too. I think they were so so clutch at killing warp spiders. I was doing the math, you kill 2 or 3 warp spiders every turn, and I had no warp spiders by turn 3.
Yeah, it's enough. The amount of shots that they have plus blast is amazing. Yeah. We were just talking right before the stream. I was playing with 3. I pulled 1 off for a saboteur, which is good. They're a lone op.
Extra AP.
But the Ridge Runner was great. A third Ridge Runner would have been so big. Yeah. So I don't even know. When are lists due on?
Not until you get there.
Exactly.
He brings an extra Ridge Runner just to get.
Which one is it? Maybe I'll put them in identical boxes. I'll just take one, and I won't find out until I get there. And that's the list.
That's the best way to do it.
I love it. Awesome. Well, with that, let's take some questions from these amazing people. We have a couple from the game. Yes. We've got through a lot, so there might not be a ton. So it's a good opportunity. If you have a question, send them on in. $10 or more. We'll answer your question to your heart's content.
Okay, so this one was that list earlier that I mentioned from Cyrix. Okay, Cyrix, now is your time. Thank you for your patience. And Cyrix asks, hey Titans, tweaking my list a bit and wanted some input. Magnus, Kairos, Ahriman on disc, 2 squads of rubrics, 2 squads of scarab terms, 2 squads of flamers, 2 Mutaliths, a Changeling, and 1 Sorcerer.
Whoa, what is this list?
It's got a lot.
It has like a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of into it. There's a lot of good things going on here. The 2 Mutaliths is like a real decision. There are a lot of points, and they're amazing. But you're like double downing on big monsters. It makes sense. If you're going to be walking around with a Magnus and a Kairos, take more monsters. They can only deal with so many.
Yeah, exactly.
And Mutaliths are very durable. They have a Feel No Pain. They have an Invuln.
Yeah.
It's good. I would say be quite bullish with them. And I think Mutaliths are good. I think one of the top 3s last week had like a T-Suns list that had 2 Mutaliths. And I know Specs in our community is running 2 Mutaliths.
Yeah.
So
They're great.
they are good. I like this decision.
Yeah.
I like the Changeling. You like the Changeling.
Love the Changeling.
It's so good. It's like one of the, I would say, 3 or 4 Zeech demons that you would definitely consider. Definitely like the top 2. I love the Kairos pick.
Yeah.
Like shooting out of line of sight with the weapon. So good. The only critique, I love the Flamers too. I would want more sorcerers. I don't know where you're at with Cabal points, but I would want a lot, and it doesn't look like you have a ton. You have like 7, 11, 13. Actually might be enough. That's actually a lot.
Yeah.
And I can see that's maybe why you split the Scarab Terminators up into 2 squads
That
and
was my
probably
question.
5.
Yeah.
It's probably for 2 Cabal points because 13 is like, it's like a Doombolt and a free strat. It's a good number actually. 13 is really good.
Yeah.
So is that worth? I would, oh man, it's so rough. I don't know.
You want like a few
Just give me
more
give
points,
me
come on.
80 points
Come on.
for like another unit of something or like a character. Like one more sorcerer. That's so difficult. Like you don't have the teleport enhancements. You want the teleport enhancement. You want the extra Cabal point enhancements. I don't know where you cut, but like I would try to make that happen because it's so big, and having 1 block of Scarab Terminators seems really good because it's a huge. You have huge damage multipliers that you want to capitalize on, and the Scarab Terminators are the heart of that. But it's an amazing list. It's actually something that I would probably consider running in my own time.
I love it.
It's a good list.
Thanks, Jerks.
Thank you. This next one is from Sikag.
Hey.
Thank you, Sikag. And they say, hey Titans, have you guys ever played solitaire 40k games? Played 40k against yourself? When testing lists? Good luck at the tournament.
Oh, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
You
it.
need all the luck.
Yeah.
All the luck dice.
Have you done this before?
I know Bridger used to do this.
Yeah. It's a very Bridger thing.
Yeah, he's like,
It's a very Bridger thing. Clearly, this is the only logical move, and then you do this, and then I do this, and I do this, and I do that. Makes sense.
yeah.
I've done deployment before, like practicing player placed stuff like that, like just going through the motion, being like, okay, what do I actually need to do? And in like different missions or whatever, especially if you're prepping for an event. So I've done that. I've never done like a full walkthrough. I think there can be benefits.
Yeah.
You haven't done that.
I've done it in the past. I have a computer room that used to have a Warhammer table, like a 40k table, but my girlfriend took over that space and now it's another computer. So I can't really play Warhammer in my house anymore. Not complaining. Hopefully my girlfriend doesn't see this. So I would also practice deployment to answer that. But mostly what I do is I literally just keep a box of 36 dice at my computer and I just start rolling. I just start mathing it out and rolling dice against myself in my free time, right? I'm like at a loading screen or like I'm in a meeting and I just start rolling. I start rolling dice.
What's John doing?
Like how many shots of Shadow Specters does it take to kill 20 acolytes?
Right.
Or neophytes. But yeah, that's what I would roll things out.
Thanks, Sikag. Appreciate it.
Good question.
Thank you. This next one is from Oracle. Thank you,
Hey.
Oracle.
Cool.
Love it.
And they say, love the content. Going into my first GT this weekend, what advice do you have for a knight player going up against GSC and Eldari?
Thanks, Oracle. Well, you come to the right place.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a good one. It's like flipping the script on me because this week, since we're going to the RTT, I'm like, how do I deal with knights?
Right, yeah.
And so this is good. I get to play from the knight perspective.
It's a good.
Do you want to answer first?
I
do you have
have
an
a
answer?
non-answer first, which is that when you're asking these types of questions, it's always good to think about like what would make me sad? Like what would I not want my opponent to do?
Right.
You know, because we're so used to contextualizing things from the perspective of our army that it can be tough to think about this. So it's just like, okay, well, what would I not want a knight player to do against me? You know? So for GSC, a couple things. They want to isolate parts of your army. They want to be able to find a lone knight or a couple of armigers on a flank and go after them and pin them down and kill them and hold that flank. That's what GSC wants. So what you want to do is play more centrally. You want to be in a position in which after the GSC drop and they do their shooting or their fighting or whatever, you are able to respond with other things. Knights can do this decently well because many of them have towering, they have decent movement, but the main thing is don't be pushing up like 1 or 2 knights alone on a flank to try to like deny some primary. Often they're going to be able to get their primary anyway. They might be able to deny you. It's kind of wasted effort, and you're almost just like sending out some of your army to just get cut off and then killed. So I would say play very centrally. Where you have towering, use it to your advantage. Those are the main things, honestly. And if you can, even if you have like a shooting knight, like a Helverin, just like John was doing today, even if you're not going to do much in melee, tag them up. They cannot come back to, or they cannot go off the board.
So huge.
Yeah, it's huge. You want to tag them up, make sure that and frankly, just don't kill them. Just tag them up, don't kill them, and then they're just kind of stuck there.
That's the perfect world when I was getting you down to like 1 acolyte and tagging you up, and I kept like ramming my boat into you and killing like one at a time. And you were like praying that it was gonna die. I'm like, yes, don't die. I'm not gonna use my rerolls or anything. Just don't die.
Could you reroll successes?
I probably should have done that. I should have done that.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do against GSC. What about Eldari?
Eldari is a different beast, right? It's almost the opposite. And your towering is amazing here. So some characteristics about Eldari is that it usually has a really good tool for one very good target, right? I had very cheap Dark Lances that would love to kill knights. I had Fire Prisms that would love to kill knights. But I have Night Spinners that aren't super good. They're going to be wounding on 6s. And other things are going to be wounding on 6s. Flamers, my Spiders, going to be wounding on 6s. A lot of my infantry. Even my Wraith Guard are going to be wounding on 5s.
What? Not the Wraith Guard.
So, and they're short range. But yeah, and they're fragile is the second one. So they have a lot of tools. They want to use the tool for the specific job, and they're fragile. So what you got to do is use your towering really wisely. You want to use your towering to shoot the things that can kill you. So those Fire Prisms, those Lances, kill the things that can kill you, and then you kind of have the run of the board where the Eldari players is forced to trade unequally, right? So that's a huge thing. And also just put an Eldari in a lot of hard decisions. Throw everything in the kitchen sink in, say, I have a bunch of charges lined up, and you can only deny me one of them, right? If you try to focus on a specific flank, then the Eldari player is just going to say, nope, I'm not gonna play that game. They are movement masters. They're going to deny you with Overwatch or movement in your movement phase or fire and fading. So don't let them shoot you or deal with you without repercussions. Start surrounding them and doing damage.
Well said. Good advice there. Thanks, Oracle.
Good
Have
question.
fun.
Yeah.
It's a great question.
Thank you. This next one is from Chris the Ghost.
Oh,
Thank
Chris.
you, Chris the Ghost. Sup gamers, when piloted competently, where do you think Chaos Undivided Daemons stand?
Yes.
What are the weaknesses / strengths? I should be playing around with them in this. Should I be playing around with them in this meta? Maybe even add some war dogs.
Ooh,
They're so cool.
they're very cool. And they have some like good lists that can that actually I think, in my opinion, have a place in this meta. So to answer your question, I think you can definitely be playing around with them in the current state of things at events. Do you have any? I have a few, but do you have a few demon units that stand out?
Oh, for sure.
And maybe you could go over some strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, definitely. And we also got some more insight this weekend as well from.
Someone played demons?
Yes. So Matt Geyer, who is part of Zero Comp.
Oh, really?
We played the last 2 SoCals in a row.
Nice.
He's the guy that the Bloodthirster pile-in that I lost to you on.
Oh,
the
no.
amazing like clincher move.
Oh.
So he did really well.
Yeah.
Was like just below placing basically with Chaos Demons, and I was very, very interested because he did so with a Monster Mash list. Let me tell you about this list, John. You're going to love it, okay?
Okay, I was hoping it was a Monster Mash list because I also think
Right.
you think that's good. I think it's good.
We've been like, is this good? Like when we played it, it's been good, but we're like, can it actually go the distance?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out it can't. So the only non-monsters, 6 flamers, 3 flamers, 3 flamers.
Naturally.
Good. Okay. The rest is monsters. Ready?
Wait, that's it?
That's it.
This is. I can tell this is going to be a pretty optimal list. If it's
amazing.
he's cutting all the fat.
There's no fat to trim. Bellicor, naturally. Shalaxley, naturally. Bloodthirster, naturally. Not naturally, but I still like it.
It's a good tech.
We've been enjoying it. Lord of Change. Lord of Change. Lord of Change.
What?
With Everstab.
What?
Yes. So what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6 greater demons in a list, John.
Oh my goodness.
It's awesome. I love it. And I want to find footage of Matt playing this list. He's a great player. I want to see how you can play the game with so few units. The Lords of Change give him shooting.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Also, no Fate Weaver. Personally, I would drop a Lord of Change.
I would
Fate Weaver
love
and
a
Changeling.
Kairos. Yeah.
I know, right? But it's inspired me
Fate
to try to
Weaver.
do that kind of version of the list. So here's a great player, a great demon player that has shown something that can work in a very competitive meta, and it can show the rest of us what is possible. So you've identified one of the weaknesses, which is lack of shooting. Matt solves this with Lords of Change. War Dogs, I think, are great if you want to take like Brigands, are awesome. But also the Zine shooting is genuinely good. Lords of Change, especially with the Everstaff.
I'm sure they're fast too, like 12, 14-inch moves.
Yeah.
Seems pretty good.
Exactly. You can always get in range.
Yeah.
So those are a couple of ways that you can help solve it. Bellicor obviously making it so you can't be shot at
And
within 18.
that just feels good, right? You are now a monster shooting demons list that can't be targeted outside of 18.
Yep.
Like that's where you want to be. That's where you want to live. Yeah.
What do you think? What are you excited about? Or worried about, I guess, is another thing, right?
For demons?
Yeah.
Like as a demon player or against demons?
I think both, right? Strengths and weaknesses. So
Oh, I see.
where do we think we haven't really answered where do you think they
Gosh.
place, right?
I honestly think that's a solid list. Like
Yeah.
you,
It's so cool.
not too many shooting lists want to be right up against you within 18 of all those monsters that are just going to charge you and kill you for free. Yeah, right. They're like in their own right pretty slappy, right?
Yeah.
And at least they have Bellicor there if you don't think they can. Line of sight. Line of sight is a big thing because they aren't towering, and you have a lot of movement. You have a good amount of range, but you can probably be line of sighted by armies like Eldari that have tons of movement, and they could definitely probably poke at you for a good amount of time. Yeah, like fire and fading a fire prism is a dream there because then you fire fade, you go in 18 inches and then you shoot all 3 fire prisms, and then you fire and fade 14 inches back.
That's so rude.
It's like, bye.
Oh
So that would be your weakness, right? You would have to find a way to interact or really play pretty aggressive against those types of lists.
Yeah. Watch out for terrain.
Yeah.
You know.
Terrain could be the enemy there.
Yeah. I would put demons in solid A tier for sure.
Yeah.
They're not S tier, but they can certainly compete.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
I agree. Solid solid A. I don't know where in A.
Right.
There might be a few other factions that are with them. I don't know where they fall into that. Like Marines, I think, is one of them.
Yeah. I think below Thousand Suns, below Custodes.
Yes.
But they're like maybe there or maybe after Marines. They're close. They're close by.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Good question.
Oh, such a cool army. If I'm feeling tired in an RTT, I would take Demons. Frankly. If I wasn't playing GSC, this is the army I'd want to play at tournaments.
Yeah.
This is it.
Anything is easier than GSC.
That's true. I'm sure we'll get there. Hey, Chris.
Thank you. This next one is from Fate Stay Dreamer.
Oh,
Thank you, Fate Stay. And Fate Stay says, "Hey, TTT, awesome game. Loved seeing Ynnari out on the field. Basing suggestion for my BTs was spot on. Looking good so far. Made some adjustments to list. See BT space at 9:54 p.m. PST.
Nice.
Thoughts?
Thank you for giving us the PST.
Yeah.
Fate Stay, yes. I totally almost forgot that I was supposed to play Ynnari in my next Craft World game. And so I made sure that we played Ynnari variant for this game. So we brought out the Ravengers. They're so good.
Yeah.
95 points each. I'm taking 3 of them. They're super good and cheap for a vehicle, which I'm capitalizing on Master Artisans and things like that, rerolls.
This is a really cool list.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
This is a Black Templars list?
Yeah. So this is Black Templar, Justiciar with 6 Blade Guard, times 2.
What? Wait, excuse me?
Yeah.
Like 2 of both?
2 of both. So 2 bricks that have fight first. So post up. I would have loved to have this today, or in today's game. I had the Aberrants on the left. I really wanted some more right in the middle. So you kind of do the same thing here.
You're like playing for the Custodes spot in best like melee.
Amazing countercharge. We've got 10 Sword Brethren. I assume this Primaris Tramplin goes with them. 3 Lancers, a Land Raider, and a Land Raider Redeemer. That's it.
Whoa!
It's really cool.
I like the mindset here. It's saying that like, okay, my infantry is for one thing and one thing only, holding objectives, staying in place and being unassailable.
Yeah.
And then I have all these awesome vehicles that are hard to kill, shooting things.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I like it a lot. I think part of me thinks I wish there was a bit more scoring, like some scout snipers and stuff like that.
A little more flexibility,
Yeah.
some dynamic kind of play.
But also, to be honest, we've seen lists, and we just talked about Matt's list, we've seen Space Marine lists that don't have many units, and they still do well. And I want to see how these lists are played. Like, what happens when you draw investigate signals with this list?
Are they taking static secondaries or fixed?
I don't know.
Like, you probably could with this. Like, you can have your Blade Guard on your 2 cleanse sites, and then you're like, you're going for like a deploy teleport homers in the middle, you know?
That's very interesting.
I don't know.
These are questions that we still have, and we're only going to find answers by going out there playing events. If y'all are playing events, let us know. We're very curious because there's some fundamental questions we still have, frankly, about competitive 10th.
Yeah.
This is a great list. It's fun.
Cool.
Thank you. This next one is another one from Oracle. Thank you, Oracle. And Oracle says, no question, just props for the Labyrinth shirt. Is Ludo an aberrant?
Ludo. Definitely an aberrant. Look at this. He's a hairy aberrant. This is an abominant, actually. That's an abominant right there. That's right. David Bowie is the patriarch.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Thanks, Oracle. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Oracle. This next one is from Kaiser Anson. Thank you, Kaiser.
What's that?
And they say, I've been thinking about this and want your guys' input, but how many detachments do you think should be in a codex?
That is a good question. Like detachments in a codex, like options, right?
Yeah.
Like we have one right now in an index. How many do you get when you buy the codex?
The thing that makes this question interesting is like, there's the like, what we want, and then what we think probably should be.
Yes.
One of my concerns with the new books is I want lots of detachments because it'll be interesting and give options.
Yes.
We've been down that road before.
Yes.
And this whole concept of like, you only need to know 6 strats in your army. That's not really true, especially if your opponent has 6 detachments in a book and they all have 6 different strats.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
need to know 36 strats and then know which of the 6 they have in that version of their
Right,
army.
right.
So that's my concern.
That's funny. Yeah. Yes.
So realistically, the responsible thing is maybe 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we want 6 was what it used to
Yeah.
be, and we think it's going to be 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
3 would be, it's a good balance, I think.
Yeah.
Still a lot. But
Yeah, and then to GW's argument, it's going to be easier to balance. It's going to be easier to get right the first time. It's going to see you're really only using 3 in most codexes anyways. Like the other 3 were used in like some narrative game that one time. So yeah,
this is accepting the fact that they will probably not be all balanced when they come out. Yeah. Which is sad but true.
Yeah, good question. We're all thinking it, right? We're all waiting for that first codex.
So curious.
And see where they set the pace.
We know there's at least one in the Tyranid book. The Vanguard detachment.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you, Kaiser.
Great question.
This next one is from Dominator62.
Oh, what's up?
Thank you, Mr. 62. They say, as a knight player, I am aware towering is very good. But with many tournaments changing terrain, making towering happen a very small amount of time, what am I supposed to do, especially after the points increase?
This is a great point.
It's a tough thread.
Yeah.
Yeah, needle to thread. It's like, oh man, it's so good, but that's like, event organizers are going to try to reel you back in because the majority of players at their tournaments aren't knight players, but at the same time, like knights need a place too. Like they're a good piece of the pie here.
This is why I get nervous. I get nervous about house rules and house changes and things like that, especially in the early parts of an edition.
Yeah.
I feel bad for event organizers, and I feel bad for people who have already had pre-existing travel to go to events. Having said that, the only way that GW knows is something is a problem is if we play it correctly as it's supposed to be played.
Yes.
You know, when the German TOs changed all the rules and played it, like, cool, this event does not tell us anything about the balance of 10th edition because we're not playing 10th edition.
Right.
You know, and the Knights, I think almost every event I've seen has had a ruling that, frankly, fundamentally changes what towering is.
We're skewing the stats ourselves and instead of telling GW that there's a problem so they can fix it.
Yeah. And Knight players are paying a points increase for a rule that then doesn't necessarily do what it's supposed to do.
Right. Oh, that's bad.
Right?
Yeah. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah. I think FLG this weekend, so we've got Lone Star Open.
Yeah.
One piece of terrain, like the tall piece of terrain, is like infinitely tall, even hides Knights. And there's lots of other, I've heard a million different rulings on different ways of playing towering.
Yeah.
So
we have no idea how our RTTs are going to go.
Yeah, we'll let you know what they end up doing this weekend.
Yeah.
It just messes up the data. It just messes it all up.
Yeah.
Like maybe Knights are, like maybe towering is or isn't the problem, or maybe they're too good or not too good, but we'll never know unless we just play the game the way it's actually written, and without being like, well, this other army gets this ability, so it should work like this. Like, no, play it the way it's written within reason. There's a couple things that are clearly typos, and you shouldn't play them like that. But overall, just because we think something is imbalanced, that's not the same as changing like a typo. You know, and people conflate those things way too much right now because they don't think it should be a certain way.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of movement to Armigers too, especially with like Chaos Knights. So that's always in the cards as well, not interacting with that whole debacle.
Oh, I would be really curious to see you play into a bunch of Helverins.
Helverins are specifically good against me. Like, scary good.
They're so spooky against you.
I don't like it.
Right? I'm curious because at first with Knights we saw some success with, well, first it was a bunch of big Knights. Then it was a bunch of Armigers, almost all Warglaives, Warglaives. But then now, frankly, I think the Helverins are very, very interesting. And I think a balance between the two is more warranted. Whether it be Chaos or Imperial.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks, Dominator. Appreciate it.
Good answer.
Generous super chat.
Yeah, thank you. This next one is from Warp Smith Nav.
Hey.
Thank you, Warp. And they ask, list check, please.
Yeah.
Damon Prince Slanesh, 2 Warp Smith, 2 Pred Ass, 2 Mauler Fiends, 1 Venom Crawler, Harkin, with 10 Raptors, Cultist Mob, Obliterators, Havocs, Dark Calm, attached to Max Accursed Squad.
Yeah, let's go.
You got a little bit of everything.
Right?
You have a good amount of vehicles too, which is scary. Like I haven't seen a lot of Venom Crawlers yet, or even a lot of Mauler Fiends. We've seen Predators a little bit, but like, there's a lot going on here.
This follows the concept that you were just mentioning, right? Which is, if you're thinking about taking a few vehicles or monsters, dreads, there is something to be said about leaning more into that. And not saying like, oh, your opponent has a few anti-tank, okay, they can deal with your 1 or 2. What happens if you double down or triple down on that, you know? This is more of a double than a triple, but it is enough of a threat, like the double Predator, the double Mauler Fiend, the Venom Crawler, even the Obliterator. Suddenly they might not have all the tools to deal with those all at once.
Yeah.
It counts for a lot.
Yeah, it's all hard to kill stuff. The Raptors are fast, so they can get away with like, hopefully dipping and diving, but like everything else is pretty hard to kill.
Right.
I like this list. I wonder how it plays. I don't have any critiques. I'm just like, I just respect this list. It's scary.
Yeah, it's cool.
It doesn't even like fall into the trap of CSM of like they ball up,
right?
Because you can really just spread out the vehicles.
This is flexible.
And then Mauler Fiends is the melee variant, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're quite bullish. You have vehicles dedicated to the back, things you can just throw away like a Venom Crawler, and then things that can actually slap in the face with the Mauler Fiends. It's great. And then you have deep strike mechanics. You still maintaining a death ball. I guess the only critique is like no Abaddon, huh?
Abaddon! He's
Abaddon.
good, but he's a lot of points.
Yeah.
And if you're not, so they're not running the Terminator brick, and
That's
they're not running a
true.
ton of accursed cultists.
So good though.
Yeah, I know. I'm also conflicted about the Obliterator. People keep running them, and I'm seeing good players run them too. So like, there's got to be something to them. They're just so expensive. Like
They are.
But
They're 100 points each?
no, they're 160 points each.
A model.
They're another Mauler Fiend. A model per model. Oh my gosh. You know.
Wait, what?
People are running them, and good players are running them. So we need to try them. We need to get CSM on the channel. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. Let's do it. We need to learn the ways.
Yep.
So I think one of their this was a different question during the game, but I'm realizing now one of the reasons we also haven't played CSM is because they did really well in our tournament.
That's right.
So
they're banned.
That's it.
They're never coming back.
You're sounding salty, John. Is it because...
They're banned,
Are you
Lindsay.
still hurt?
They hurt you, John.
You hurt me.
You were the chosen one,
They
John.
beat Eldari, and I'm not happy about it.
Unnerfed Eldari.
We threw them away already.
Hilarious. Because they did so well, they made it to the finals. We did 3 shows with them, so it was like, cool. We've got 3 shows with CSM. We need to make sure these other loser factions get a chance. But now it's time. It's been a while. We know something about 10th edition now. We can actually play it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's been about a month.
Yeah, it's been too long. Let's. This is the 3 people that you need to convince to put things on the schedule. So we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Do it.
Oh, thank you, Warp. This next one, and potentially last, we'll find out, is from Ryan King. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you again. And Ryan says, local area is doing a 40k Highlander style event, i.e. one of each data sheet 3. If it's battle line or a transport.
Right.
Thoughts on my list? It's 1020 PST under Chaos Knights.
Chaos Knights. Wait, one of each data sheet.
Yeah.
3 if it's a battle line.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's
or
like
transport.
it's like doubly restrictive. Like half or like.
With Highlander, but you can take 3 if it's battle line.
Yes.
Right. So that
You get more diversity.
This is traditional. Back in the day, Highlander was much more popular in 7th edition and 6th, and this is traditionally what it was. It was like one of each, except for troops. Then you could take 3.
I thought you had to like behead your opponent or something if you wanted to win.
Look, there can only be one, John.
There can only be one. Highlander style could mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
Someone who doesn't know.
You show up with a sword.
I'm like, well, am I at the right event here?
Well, let's take a look at Ryan's list. We have a Knight Abominant with the Trader's Mark. We've got a Knight Despoiler with, let's see, loadout-wise, Battle Cannon, Gatling Cannon, the Havoc Pod, the Dark Flamer. Okay, yeah, so the main thing is Battle Cannon, Gatling. No enhancement. Then we have a Knight Tyrant with the Volcano Lance and the... which one's the big one? I don't know. Oh, the Decimator. So basically, Castellan variant with Panoply of the Cursed Knight. Nice. And then you take Brigand, Huntsman. This is really fun. This is
Wait, so
really
that's 2 big knights, right?
It's two big knights, 1 bigger knight.
Oh.
And then 3 small knights. Yeah. So, I think it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I prefer the Valiant over the Castellan variant because the Flamer is amazing. But you're gonna get a lot of value out of this this big guy.
Very scary.
Honestly.
Again, we have to hopefully terrain rules are in your favor for your area. And that's like the big thing, right? Like we were just talking about towering and house rules. But that's terrifying to an Eldari player. That's a lot of dead things that you can take out at range.
I guess I'm curious. So this list is 1990. You've got Brigand, Huntsman. And these are battle line. Why not a 3rd Brigand? The Huntsman has the chain talent, so it gives you some melee. But I mean, for 10 more points, you could just do another Brigand.
And it's battle line, yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be the only potential change, and that would take you to 2,000 points on the line.
Ooh, feels good.
I think this list is super fun. Anytime you get a chance to play 6 models in an army, I think you should take it.
Yeah.
And Highlander especially, it's kind of perfect, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's super cool.
this is fun. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on terrain, right?
Yeah.
That'll be the big thing.
Yeah, I think you're in good shape. I think you get a lot done as Chaos Knights here.
Let us know how it goes.
Thank you. We have another one that came in.
Cool.
This one is from Matthew Powell.
How's that, Matthew?
And Matthew asks, John, I was watching Redline anime. Have you seen it? And if you have, tell us why orcs love it. Adrian, what should I buy before Epic comes out? Titanicus starter, Aeronautica, a single large Titan.
Oh my gosh.
Have you seen Redline, John?
Excuse me? Matthew, how is not everyone just watching Jujutsu Kaisen right now? This is, let's hold on. How?
So I've seen Redline.
Oh, perfect. I have never.
It's, you should watch
wait,
it. You should watch it. I feel like you have
I have watched this.
Okay, yeah.
I don't. This is
The story is
They canceled this after the first season or 2.
It was just a movie.
Oh.
It was just I think it was just a movie.
I feel like I might be thinking about a different one. It looks very cool. The animation
Yeah,
is very
so
unique.
It's,
Was this cut short, Matthew Powell? I feel like this was a thing, and then it looks very orky.
It is very orky.
It's like
they got checkers and everything.
I know. Also, red go faster.
I like the guy's hair. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's
This
amazing.
is very intense.
maybe I'm thinking of a different one now that I'm looking at pictures of it.
Yeah.
But
This is cool.
It does
yeah,
look very
it is
orky.
a movie.
It is a movie, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
So it
okay.
is the one that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very fast.
Fast as in
Every way possible.
like it's a fast movie?
Every way.
It's a movie.
Or it's it keeps going.
You saw the cars. I imagine you're looking at images. It's like cars racing fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the storytelling fast, or
I
or
you
is
know
the fast cars?
the story I have to say is kind of meh because that's what I'm blanking on.
I see.
Right.
It had a very interesting style though.
Yeah.
I think
That's cool.
That's fair. Good question.
lots of
Oh my God.
explosions. Yeah.
It looks
Well,
like
yeah.
it looks like pod racing, but
With wheels.
with orc buggies.
Yeah.
It was, which really just this is orc buggies.
They sound amazing.
Adrian, what epic? What should I buy for epic?
It's always risky buying stuff before a new rule set or a new edition or whatever the heck it is. They mentioned Aeronautica's going away. It's gonna be kind of part of Epic. We're not quite sure.
Yeah.
So I think the safe bet here is a fun bet. It's a single large Titan. You get the cool model, you paint it up, you do it all out, all to the nines, and you have fun with it with a single model right now because it's hard to go wrong. The other stuff, it feels like everything's up in the air right now as far as what's used for what's going to matter, is it going to be cohesive. So I would do the single large Titan and have fun with that for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Thanks, Matthew.
Jujutsu Kaisen came out yesterday. Everyone's up to date. Voting spoilers.
No.
Such a good show. Such a good show.
Oh, thank you. This next one is from McDude95. Thank you. About to start running my 4th narrative campaign in 3 years on Sunday. First 10th, very excited and stressed. Partnered with FLGS, 32 players. At the moment, maybe more, over 10 weeks. Any advice?
No way. This is like a dream.
That's
Where
so
are you,
many.
McDude?
McDude.
Where do you live? Can I move there? I want to join. Can I drive there? Are you driving range? That's so cool. Could it be 33? That's so cool. I wish I could plan a narrative event. We don't really have any narrative events, at least of this size, near us. So that's quite impressive. That is a huge feat that you've completed here.
Well, especially over time, right? Like, we have the Maelstrom Mixer here, of course, which is one big event over a couple of days.
Yes.
This is a cool different style where it's 10 weeks. So it's like ongoing narrative.
I know.
I love that kind of stuff.
Like
Oh
you
my
can
gosh.
really like progress and like think about the story and the cool mechanics that you can add to this. And you have 32 players, 31 other players doing this with you. So it's maybe more. Oh my goodness.
That sounds amazing.
Any advice that we can give him? It seems like you know much more than us.
Yeah, I feel like I don't want to be condescending, honestly.
Right? Have fun, of course.
It's the first of 10th, so maybe some advice based off of that.
Yes.
I think be open to change with the rules.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure there's always going to be like people that might bring better factions. How do you get that in line with everyone else? The guy that's playing Votan or the Death Guard player, you know? How do you make sure they have a good time?
I think caveat to what we said earlier about house rules. This is a good place for house rules and for patches and hot fixes and stuff like that. I think empower yourself to do that because the game is going to have a mess right now. It can be good when you temper yourself and your players. And I'm sure this is something you already experienced with the narrative events, but it's definitely true right now with the volatility that is 10th edition.
Yeah.
So
just be ready to do it more than ever.
Yeah, exactly.
McDude.
Sounds amazing.
Dude.
Thanks so much. 96.
So
When they said 95, oddly enough, she was like, McDude 95.
Gotta throw him off.
That's just like,
Gotta
confused.
humble McDude.
Yeah. Sorry, you're only a 95.
Sorry, it just had 2 come in.
No worries.
Okay.
Thank you all for the support. I
wow.
really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
This one is from 8-Bit Bite. Thank you, 8-Bit Bite, again. And 8-Bit says, tell Spiggity Spike to go to bed.
Yes.
He is the breadwinner in the family and has work early. Love ya, bruh.
Go to bed.
Spiggity Spike!
Spiggity Spike.
Get in that
Get
bed.
out of here.
You better be unconscious one way or another
I like
pretty soon.
the call out followed across streams to a different stream.
Well, yeah, they've been like,
Yeah.
they haven't been talking in chat,
Yeah.
but they both have been showing up in chat,
That's
but they haven't
amazing.
been talking to each other.
Right.
I
There,
know.
there.
Spiggity Spike is obviously ghosting 8-Bit Bite. There might be DMs happening and it's one direction. And Spiggity Spike.
You've been called out.
Called out.
Time to go to bed.
Yeah, you don't want to mess up that sleep schedule. You got to be in your A game. You're going to regret it tomorrow.
True.
You want to make sure you have a good Friday. Because you're going to party at night.
Ooh,
Gotta be ready. Spiggity Spike.
You got kudos from Spiggity Spike, John,
Spike.
because you are the first person to correctly pronounce his name the first try.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Yeah, I can't pronounce regular words, but Spiggity Spike.
You were born for
do that
this.
all day.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you, 8-Bit. And then, Spiggity Spike's going to bed. Good night,
Good.
Spiggity.
Good night. Everyone say good night. Good night.
I just want to thank Fate Stay Dreamer for gifting 5 memberships.
Fate
Thank you so
Stay!
much.
Absolute legend. John, did you know this is a great way to support the channel?
It is. Wow. Wow.
I don't know if you heard
That's
it.
great.
It's true.
It's amazing.
Really appreciate it. Welcome to the 5 new members.
Yeah.
Definitely join us on Tuesday. We have a vote up right now.
Yes.
Yeah?
Currently.
Ooh, to decide what we are playing on Tuesday.
Yes. It's a big vote.
What you're playing.
You gotta watch out. We have Drukhari, Eldari, Sisters, and fourth one is Blood Angels.
Blood Angels.
Blood Angels, yeah.
Wow, that is quite the
It's a good
gauntlet.
It's quite the vote. Yeah. So you gotta.
And that's what Tuesdays are about, right? Yeah. Like you're gonna really be able to directly influence what we play.
Right. Even if just showing up to Tuesdays, you get to vote on polls,
true,
and they literally built the mission we're playing on Tuesday. Yeah. Boy, I hope it's balanced.
Did you see what won?
For the mission?
Tuesday?
No, I didn't.
So I wrote it up over there.
I saw you wrote it, which I love.
Yeah.
Because I immediately forget.
I knew, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew with 3 options, yeah, something was going to get lost. So, yeah.
On Tuesday.
For Tuesday's mission.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. So I'm excited to see. I also want to not know.
I know the mission special rule, and it makes me mad. So.
That's right.
Oh, is it no infiltrators?
No, you didn't put that in.
Okay,
Thank goodness.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you'll have to find out. All I know is we said we hope chat doesn't pick this, and of course they picked it.
Of course they picked it.
Well, you can't say that.
That was our bad.
You can't. They'll smell fear.
I know.
I love it. And then, thank you, Fate Stay. I watched a cute bit about Fate Stay Night. It's the series his name is after, and it was very funny. It's known for no one knows what this series is about. It's a franchise that it's very very loosely put together in anime of it's like the Holy Grail War. It's like Hunger Games but Holy Grail, and you pull sorcerers pull huge historical characters to fight for them.
That sounds amazing.
And that's it. You go anywhere with that. And it's there's 6+ different series about this one idea, and no one knows where to start the series, and so it's fun. It's a meme. It's a meme. Just take my word for it. It's funny.
That sounds awesome.
Thank you. This next question is from Cody Bratton. Thank you, Cody.
What's up, Cody?
And Cody says, been great watching the games and getting to learn with you. Looking forward to getting my orcs on the table next weekend at my first GT of the year.
What?
Just going to be a horde army doing horde things.
Nice. Playing it right.
That's how you do it.
Threat overload.
Boys.
Playing the utility lifestyle. Looks like everyone, with us, where everyone's going to their first tournaments of the year.
Yeah.
And we're having fun.
It's the time.
It's the time. It's great.
We're all ready. We've been in our caves, timidly
Oh,
watching everything unfold, and then we're like, okay, let's go. It's time to play. Things have settled a little bit, and we can try stuff out. That's literally what it is. We've been waiting.
We're all testing the water.
Yeah.
We're waiting for the first person to step in and then get crushed by
You
Eldari.
don't want to be the first person. The people who went and played when it was unnerfed fate dice, just play with your friends. Now let's go try it out and see what other stuff's going on.
Is it safe outside?
Have fun, Cody. Let us know how it goes. Good wa to you.
Well, thank you. And with that is it.
Amazing.
That's the
Yay.
last
We really appreciate all the support. We know that you don't have to give us your well-earned money. Hopefully we can give some insight and help you out with your games and your hobby. Because honestly, all of this is only possible because of y'all.
Boom.
It's been a lovely evening. It's going to be an amazing weekend. We'll keep you all up to date. Again, no Saturday game because of travel, because of events, but we'll be back at it on Tuesday. And if you want to join us tomorrow, we have a paint stream at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yep.
That's going to do it for us. We'll catch you all next time on the tabletop. Bye.
Bye.